Hey, Bala! Squiggles here, bringing you the final game in my little show match of DRG. This one is going to be DRG versus MVP, the best Terran player in the world. Yes, indeed. This is going to be played on Xel Naga Caverns. And you can see that these guys are spawning in the only spawn positions you can actually spawn on. Of course, they do have the supply depots at the bottom of the ramps because this is a MLG map. And I believe these games are actually played for MLG. I believe. Could be wrong. Could be wrong, but that's what it said in the title. Anyway, back to the game. Not really that important, to be honest. I'm more interested in how these players actually do. And you can see that MVP, of course, is going to be playing safe, going to be walling off his ramp as anybody would, because Zerglings are pretty good. And DRG is going to be doing the little trick. You can see the last parts of the goo leaving that Vespine geyser, so we can get out one additional drone just a few seconds faster, eking out every little bit of advantage he possibly can. Second Overlord on the way. First Overlord shooting his way across the map at subsonic speeds, and definitely not supersonic speeds. That guy, he's just very, very calm. He doesn't want to spill his tea as he's flying, so he's going very, very slowly. If you could imagine an Overlord landing and tiptoeing on all of these legs, that's exactly what he would be doing, because he just needs to be super careful. He's carrying a hot beverage, and you don't want to spill on yourself, because that's just, ugh, just terrible. Looks like DRG is going to be going for an economic opening, of course, getting that hatch on 15 before he gets any kind of spawning pool. Expect to see a spawning pool fairly quickly. Going to continue to just drone up a little bit, get that gas first. Okay, so gas and then spawning pool. So going to be getting speed as quickly as he can, considering that he got the hatch first. That's what that is. And there is a second supply depot. I love this move. I always love when people do this. Puts the supply depot down. He's on it for like 3 seconds, just to give it a couple hit points, but it makes the tight wall even before you are ready to make the wall. And then as soon as this barracks is done, you just pop the guy over here. It denies any kind of scouting. It's just a really, really good, solid thing to do. It's not very micro-intensive, and it just denies information. And since StarCraft is a game of not only mental willpower and mental agility and finger dexterity, and build orders and thinking on your feet, but it's also about scouting and denying scouting. So he's able to deny that scout, and that's so important. Looks like he's going to go for a 1-racks fast expo as he is getting that command center down. Now, I did notice back in the day, a lot of people were going for the command center before the second supply depot, but I like getting the second supply depot first just because, like I said, I don't think I can say it enough, it denies scouting. And, I mean, yeah, you get your command center a little bit quicker the other way, but if your opponent knows you're getting a command center, they can, you know, just cross off a ton of stuff off the list of things they have to worry about. But this way, they really can't, and they have to account for everything. So, I mean, you can see DRG. Does he even have... I'm looking. I don't see. He doesn't have Overlord anywhere close, actually, so he is not going to be able to get any kind of scouting, at least for the time being. And with these Marines here as well, not even going to be able to get up the ramp and see anything. So, I mean, MVP looking pretty strong already. Does have these 2 gas geysers. Going to be shooting ahead in tech as quickly as he can. You can see there is a factory going down right now. So, pretty standard way to get back in the tech game after you go for a fast expand by just grabbing those 2 gas geysers super fast. We see that the metabolic boost is nearing completion. There is 1 spine crawler on the way, and the creep tumor starting already, because DRG is nothing if not a creeper, and I mean that in the most endearing form of the word creeper possible. I mean, he spreads creep like Gosu. So that is actually good in this context. Creeping is good. I'm gonna see it right now. There's gonna be a thread. This Squiggles is a creeper. He thinks creeping is good. I'm gonna go creep on people. Like, that's not what I meant. Unless you're talking about like Lonely Island, the music video creeper, because that's really funny too. The creep. If you haven't seen that, check that out. Lonely Island, the creep. So good, so good. All right, looks like a second factory actually coming down for MVP, who does not want to take his natural just yet. Does not feel like he can defend it. I kind of agree with him. He only has 1 rack's worth of Marines, and that is not very many. So, I mean, enough to kill a Zergling, but not enough to actually defend an Expo without a lot of harass going on. So, going to go ahead and get that second factory, and it looks like Blue Flame is going to be the order of the day. Going to be getting Blue Flame before Siege Tanks and try to do some damage with Hellions. Of course, Marines can help with that as well, as Marines and Hellions together are pretty scary, actually. And nice job with this Marine here, just patrolling back and forth. Doesn't want to get scouted by an Overlord. Little does he know that the closest Overlord is literally at the Xel Naga Cavern in the middle of the map. So, Looks like DRG not able to do a lot right now, so just going to be taking down these destructible rocks. I like that choice. You have units, you might as well use them. And if you've listened to me before, I keep saying it because it's true and it's important. If you're going to make units, you got to use them for something. So don't just make them to have them. Make them and do something with them, even if it's just scouting, even if it's just taking down destructible rocks. Get some extra value out of those units. All right, now finally MVP taking that expansion. Has a bunker up. There's the drone transfer. And by drone, I mean SCV. What's wrong with my brain? And it looks like Infernal Preigniter is getting close to being done. And I expect to see a transition into tanks decently quick, into Marine tank, but with some Hellion support. Here come these Hellions, and Blue Flame is done. Okay, Blue Flame done. Stim started, and here we go, here we go. We have a second Spine Crawler on the way. 2 Queens trying to slow down the Slaughter, and it looks like they're actually going to do a great job of slowing it down. They're going to get roasted a little bit, a little crispy around the edges there. But did manage to avoid losing pretty much anything. We go to the units. That's not right. There we go. Bring this up. We can see that MVP only killed 2 workers. So great job by DRG defending that and not really losing anything. Also, good job doing that creep spread, but it looks like MVP is not going to have any of it. He's going to be targeting down the 2 creep tumors that can actually spread creep before going for this creep tumor. Is he going to get it? No, doesn't actually get it. Oh, man, that's unfortunate. But did get the 2 that would actually spread creep. So if DRG wants any more creep, he's going to have to bring a queen out here and throw down additional creep tumors. Okay, what is DRG doing at his base? Looks like he's getting an additional hatchery. He has a spire on the way. More Zerglings, a few more drones as well, +1 melee on the way. So DRG is just going to continue to do the Ling, Baneling, Muta style, which is pretty good against Terran. Unless, of course, you play against the top Terrans in the world, which apparently don't have trouble against it. Although, the game against Bomber, if you guys haven't seen that, it was really epic. You should go check it out. It was like almost a 40-minute game. Pretty crazy on Shakira's Plateau, but that's okay. I digress. We are on this map right now, which is the map where Hellions can deny thirds, and the other Hellions can get good scouting intel, and nobody wants the Xel Watchtower because he's a little bit lonely. Little Zergling patrolling back and forth here. Nice little trick to see when MVP moves out. Unfortunately, MVP already has lots of units on the field, so that's not going to help too terribly much. But he's going to be able to see when the Marines and tanks go ahead and push out. Looks like Stim just now finishing. Of course, the siege tanks already have siege mode. We have combat shields and infantry weapons 1 on the way. Melee attack 1 almost done for Zerg player, as well as the flyer attacks and more mutas coming out as well. So these Hellions trying to do some damage, but they got to be careful not to get on creep because speedlings on creep are actually pretty good against Hellions. And now that the mutas are out, looks like DRG is going to be expanding behind this as he puts on La Pain. So we're going to have to see what kind of damage / harassment / scouting / not losing mutalisks he can possibly do. And here we go. Looks like nice missile turret placement by MVP there. He's going to get a couple of free shots off. And here comes some shots by these mutas, but nope. Between the Marines and the missile turret, it looks like DRG is going to have to back up, at least temporarily. These Hellions don't want to get caught either, so they ran all the way over here, and now they're going to run back, it looks like. But they're going to run right into a bunch of mutalisks unless they decide not to. Nice job there. Dodging those mutas. Going to run over here and be like, ho, holy snowflake Batman. I just made that up. That was so terrible. That's a lot of mutas. We got to be careful. And so now, as the Marines and tanks run onto the middle of the field, that's going to be the signal to DRG to go ahead and move into MVP's base. But MVP still has a lot of Marines there, and I think it was just because they just popped, but able to defend using those Marines. And now it looks like MVP is getting in a nice position, getting the siege tank siege up. They're going to be hard to surround, and these are Marines only stemming some of the Marines. This hatchery just finishing for DRG, so amazing timing by MVP. Going to be able to snipe off this hatchery. DRG not going to have a chance to cancel it. And DRG now looks like he could be marshalling for an attack. He does have mutas. He does have Zerglings. And he is getting Baneling speed right now. Here comes the stim on the Marines. Nice job. Again, only stimming a few Marines, not all of them. Wants to keep his Marines at a high health and alive. And, of course, why would you not want to do that? Here comes a ton more Zerglings and Banelings. So, I mean, we can see here that DRG is actually a little bit behind in supply, but not too terribly much. If we go to units, we can see he has 62 Zerglings, 13 Banelings, 15 mutas versus 64 Marines. That is so many Marines. Are you kidding me? 8 siege tanks, and if we look at the worker counts, we can see that it looks like DRG is up by a little bit. But with mules, it's not the craziest thing in the world. Muta is just going to be trying to pick off some of these Marines. Don't want to lose too many. Got to be careful. Oh, man. Okay. Did a decent job there. Needs to keep those Muta counts high, and wants to actually keep his Mutas, with health. That would help. Looks like there is an armory going down for MVP right now. He does have +1 attack, getting +1 armor as well for his things. And here comes a big attack coming in by DRG. We have Zerglings, Banelings, Mutalisks, and it looks like the Zerglings are going to be able to come in here and chip away at the Marines, and the Mutas are going to come in just behind them and clean up everything else. So MVP actually losing that fight, but doing some good damage with those Hellions, able to roast some stuff. And here comes a ton more units for MVP. Where did these guys come from? His macro is out of this world, folks. He has 2 siege tanks and 7 Marines building at all times, and that is crazy good. Here comes a counterattack by DRG, trying to get something done, but no, he has a siege tank, bunkers, a lot of Marines, even missile turrets and stuff. He's going to be able to defend, and look at this, able to snipe off the gold as well. So taking it back to a 2 base versus 2 base. DRG desperately trying to expand again to his 3rd base. But, I mean, MVP is just set up in this great position here, and he is not going to give this up easily. So, I mean, it's going to be on DRG to actually hold his base. As you can see, he does have +1 flyer attacks done, starting +2 right away, and it looks like MVP, just knowing exactly when to fall back, is going to fall back. DRG, I think, was going to get an attack going, but is going to decide not to now. Wow. And now we have Thors on the way as well, and here comes MVP, killing off those destructible rocks, putting up some missile turrets, and floating over an orbital command. Doesn't even need a planetary, man. He's just going to go with the orbital because he is confident enough in his own abilities. And here comes some Mutaliska, and look at this, so quick on the stem of just a few Marines running over here and going to shut down this Muta harass. Muta's forced to fall back again, has not even managed to snipe off a single reactor, and here comes the missile turrets being placed yet again. The missile turrets are almost done here. Tons and tons of mules being dropped at the gold. Do you want to see something disgusting? I'll show you something disgusting. And see how fast MVP's income goes up. He's at like 3K now, 32, 31. That is, oh, the power of mules, man. Oh, it's so gross. Just want to show you guys that. Okay, back to the game. That's what happens when you drop, what, 6 mules on the gold base. Yeah, your income goes up by like 1,000. Okay, these Mutas, there are quite a few of them. He just needs to be careful to avoid the Thors, yeah, like that one. Although Thors don't have any kind of attack modifier, so that's definitely going to be good. Although the Mutas only have the offensive, no defensive stuff. And so here we go, Marines stemming just a few Marines and going to be killing off 1 creep tumor and a whole bunch of Zerglings not attacking actually. That is a lot of Banelings. Here we go, Zerglings, Banelings, Mutas running in, siege tanks are siege. Marines are stemmed, they're decently spread, and here comes the Marines running backwards, spreading. Looks like the Banelings will not even get to the Marines at all. Wow, what control by MVP, and that is going to be GG. Even, oh, wow, that was crazy good by MVP. DRG, again, not really playing bad, but MVP is just so good. Wow. So all you Terran players who are struggling with Zerg, if you're like me and you're struggling with Zerg, watch these games and take some notes. And if you're a Zerg player, please do not get discouraged because DRG is a great player, but these were the top Terrans in the world. I was just curious to see how DRG would fare. Unfortunately, he was 0-3'd by all of these guys. I mean, he only played 1 game versus each, but he lost all of them. But still, showed some great matches. There was no match that was really just like a rollover. All of them were competitive. All of them were good. And I think DRG has a great, bright future. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave comments below. I hope you enjoyed this little look into DRG and his play against some of the best Terrans, actually the best Terrans in the world right now. I'll be trying to come up with some more games in the very near future, so please continue to tune in, and I will see you guys later.